Hello students, I am Dr. Jayashree B, Assistant Professor of English, Government First Grade College, Car Street, Mangalore. I will be dealing the text School for Scandal prescribed for 4th semester BA with the special focus on the last part, that is Act 3rd and 4th and 5th. So, as you know, the drama is written by Richard Sheridan, a famous restoration dramatist. William Congreve, Oliver Goldsmith, and of course Richard Sheridan. They are the pioneers of restoration comedy. Fine. This drama is a comedy of manners. What do I mean by comedy of manners? Comedy of manners is a kind of drama which flourished during the 18th century. So what differentiates comedy of manners from sentimental comedy is its focus on the high life. Then it is different from tragedies also. In tragedies, you will have a lot of depth, situational change, growth of the characters. You might have heard of round characters and flat characters, etc. Whereas in a comedy of manners, there isn't much of character reformation. Most of them are stock characters. And coming to this drama, it deals with the upper class aristocratic people in England at that time. Basically, the drama exposes the hypocrisies, vulgarities, fashion, foible, and follies of the high class society at that time. The idea is to make fun of the so-called rich people and to laugh at them. As you know, the purpose of comedy is to reform human beings by pointing out at the mistakes. Now coming to the drama. Let us have a look at the outline. School for Scandal basically is a story of two brothers. There are two brothers in the drama, Charles Surface and Joseph Surface. Now, Charles is supposed to be quite a reckless person, like without care. He doesn't care very much about what others think of him and all, but he is basically a good person. The brother, Joseph Surface, is a representative of sentimental comedy heroes. Like he always speaks sentiments, speaks in a very polite and moral manner, but actually he is a hypocrite in the drama. Now, both of these two brothers under the care of a person called Sir Peter Teazle. He is their guardian. Now, regarding their sponsorship, like who promotes their education, expenses, etc., they have an uncle called Sir Oliver. He is working in the East Indies, that is India, Kolkata in fact. So this is the overall outline. So now what happens, these two people have a girl in their mind, Maria by name. So even she is under the guardianship of Sir Peter Teazle. But the fact is, Maria loves Charles. Both of them want to marry also. But Joseph also wants to marry Maria because she is rich. That is the main reason why Joseph wants to marry her. This is one aspect of the drama. Now regarding the title, you have the title School for Scandal. Why is it so? These people live in a highly scandalous society. Especially there is a woman called Lady Sneerwell. She could be called as the principal of this school for scandal. Like Joseph is a close friend of Lady Sneerwell. So in the first scene itself, we are introduced to Lady Sneerwell and all other friends. For example, Miss Candor, Benjamin Backbite, Crabtree, all this. So you can almost see some resemblance between their very name itself. For example, there is a person called Snake who is supposed to be as poisonous as a snake. Okay. In the first scene, we are introduced to the School for Scandal. The main person of School for Scandal is Lady Sneerwell, accompanied by Joseph Surface, Miss Candor, then Snake, etc. So, the subplot in the drama is that of Lady Teazle and Sir Peter Teazle. Now, this Peter Teasel is an old man, but by some mistake he happened to marry at his old age a quite a young girl called now she is Lady Teasel. This girl, though she is from village, now she wants to become fashionable. She wants to adopt city manners. Basically she is influenced by these people such as Lady Sneerwell and all. But she is very innocent also. She doesn't know that these people really do not want her good. She will be easily fooled by them, thinking that they are her friends. She often has fights with her husband, for example, once Sir Peter tells her, "Why are you always fighting? I have an authority over you." Then she says, "Oh, if you wanted to have authority, you should have adopted me, not married me like that." So these are some of the funny, witty things in the drama. As you know, Comedy of Manners pays a lot of importance to witty dialogues. Now, in the first scene itself, Maria also comes and she feels very much disgusted by the scandalous speech these people were doing. Lady Sneerwell especially speaks ill of Charles. She gets angry because Charles is her beloved, so she doesn't like to hear bad things about him. Okay, now coming to Act Second. We have already observed that Lady Teasel and Sir Peter are fighting with each other. Here we have one more insight. This Sir Peter really loves Lady Teasel, you can see some nice scenes if you observe the movie. It is quite interesting to watch the movie. A drama also is available in the net. Now, in the scene second, we see an interaction between Lady Sneerwell and Joseph. Now, as I have already told you, Lady Teasel is under the belief that it is okay to flirt with other men. She thinks it is a fashion. She will keep it at a platonic level, but she doesn't really understand the consequences. She doesn't know that Joseph Surface is trying to seduce her in order to get the hand of Maria. Through her, he wants to reach Maria. Anyway, there is a very funny scene where the moment Lady Teasel goes to some other room, Joseph Surface proposes to Maria kneeling down, and Lady Teasel arrives there and she tells, "Have you mistaken her for me?" Like that. So Joseph's villainy is getting exposed from this scene onwards. In Act Third, we see Sir Peter Teasel speaking with Rowley. Who is Rowley? Rowley is a servant, he was the attendant, steward to Charles Surface and Joseph Surface's father. So you might have observed in the old times, servants were quite loyal to their masters. So he knows who is good and who is bad. When Sir Peter says that Joseph Surface is quite a model young man, he opposes. He says that even Charles Surface's father, when he was young, he used to be quite hilarious and slightly responsible, but at the time of his death, he was a reformed soul. Anyway, Sir Peter is very curious how Sir Oliver will deal with these two brothers. Rowley also knows that Sir Oliver wants to test these two brothers. So Sir Oliver also comes, and Sir Oliver, as he has seen the world outside, he knows that people cannot be so good always. So Joseph's being acclaimed as the best of young men, it may not be true. That is why he insists on two plans. The first plan is to meet Charles as a money lender, a broker rather, by the name Mr. Premium. Now, this Charles has already sold so much of his family property, books and all. Like he doesn't even have any regret regarding it. Anyway, as he is in need of money, if a person takes him to if he if a broker comes to meet him, he will agree. So that is the plan. So there is a person called Moses, and Sir Oliver will meet Charles in the disguise of Mr. Premium. Then he will go to meet Joseph also. Meanwhile, Rowley says that there was a poor relation called Stanley, who was in need of money. So Sir Oliver thinks he will go and meet Sir Joseph in the disguise of Stanley, a poor relation. Then let him check whether Joseph is really kind, generous, good-hearted as he is supposed to be. Okay. Now in Act 3rd, second scene, Sir Oliver goes and meets this Charles and party. It's a hilarious scene with drinking, singing, and drinking to the health of Maria, etc. Sir Oliver is shocked to see that Charles is least bothered about the family, ancestry, etc. There were so many nice antique paintings also, and Charles is supposed to be eager to sell them. Like he is in need of money. Even the servants are not strictly handled, so they are equally fashionable and irresponsible. For example, the name of one servant is Careless. So the name itself is suggestive of the carelessness, isn't it? Anyway, so this scene shows some kind of, throws some glimpse on the profligate lifestyle of Charles. Now, in Act 4, there is this famous auction scene wherein Charles will be selling the family properties. It's very hilarious in the drama. Charles says that these are very original paintings, they show the people as ugly as they were in the original. So Sir Peter feels so much offended. For example, he had a niece who thought herself to be quite beautiful when she was living, but Charles sells her picture for a pittance. So he keeps on, after some time Charles gets bored with spending too much of time, and he says, you take them in a lump sum, like that. He doesn't even have the patience to auction these paintings properly. That's there. And Sir Oliver becomes increasingly angry. But they say if you have some goodness, it will show at some time or other. So there is a painting of Sir Oliver also. So Sir Oliver says, give that painting to me. Then Charles says, no, I will not give the painting because it is that of my guardian. Then Sir Oliver feels happy. He offers more amount of money. Still Charles is firm regarding not selling that picture, and now Sir Oliver feels happy that Charles has a scope of reforming himself. He feels happy. And there is also another incident which shows Charles's good nature. Sir Oliver gives 800 pounds for the purchase of these pictures, and he gives he gives this to Rowley to encash the note, and he says, out of this 100 pounds you give to this one, what is his name? Stanley, the poor relation, so as to pay off his, it will be of some help to him. So this shows Charles's good nature. In the second scene, we see another important scene that is also referred to as screen scene in English literature, quite famous in Sheridan's plays. By the way, Sheridan has written two more plays, The Critic and The Rivals, another important play. But School for Scandal is supposed to be the most popular play. So, okay. Now coming to the drama, as you know, Lady Teasel and Joseph Surface have a kind of affair. So Lady Teasel comes there, complaining and grumbling about her husband. Sir Peter had been, you know, suspecting of Lady Teasel. So again, this has another subplot. Lady Sneerwell and Snake, they had been spreading rumors that Charles and Lady Teasel have an affair. That is because Lady Sneerwell herself wanted to marry, Charles. For that, she had to spoil the scope of Charles getting married to Maria. But Lady Teasel is unaware of it. So she comes there fuming and fretting. Then says that my husband is suspicious of me. Now, you know that Joseph is a cunning person. He says, in a very polite manner, he says that if there are people who are suspicious, in order to teach them a lesson, you should do the thing which they are saying. That is, Lady Teasel should actually have some affair with him. Uh, then Lady Teasel becomes slightly unhappy, because though she is now living in a fashionable society, she has not exactly lost her morals. She says platonic relationship is the only thing which she is comfortable with, and she also says that she won't leave her country manners as yet. She sort of suspects Joseph Surface's baser intentions. At that time, Sir Peter comes. Now, this is a very tricky scene. So, Joseph Surface asks Lady Teasel to hide behind the screen. She will overhear the conversation between herself and Joseph, which is quite interesting. Sir Peter comes there, and he feels very happy about Joseph Surface. He will be reading a book, pretending to be a very good person, and uh, he says that his wife and Charles have some kind of affair. Now, Joseph Surface is supposed to be a very good man in front of Sir Peter Teasel. So he says, no, no, it may not be the case like that. Then accidentally, Sir Peter happens to see the feet of Lady Teasel behind the screen. Then he asks Joseph, who is she? Then Joseph says that it is that of a French milliner. Like, at that time, Charles also arrives on the place. He knocks the door, and Sir Peter says, I will hide in the closet there, so as to listen to what Charles is saying. Like, he wants to know the truth, whether he loves, has a relationship with Lady Teasel or not. Joseph is supposed to speak in such a manner as to elicit the truth. Then it's a tricky scene for Joseph. From this scene onwards, Joseph Surface's bad luck starts, we can say. At that time, Charles comes and speaks, and Joseph says loudly that he hints that he and Lady Teasel might be having an affair. Then Charles becomes very much surprised and says, actually, I don't have any relation with her, because I want to marry Maria, and I assumed that you have an affair with Lady Teasel. For example, I saw you speaking to her and giving sideway glances. Once I even saw you and her in the same room. And now Joseph is in a dilemma, because all his hypocrisy will be exposed. So what he says, he tells Charles that Sir Peter is in the same room. Then he goes and opens the door of the closet, and Sir Peter feels slightly unhappy, repentant also for having suspected his nephew. By the way, he is very happy that Charles is innocent. At that time, Lady Sneerwell also arrives on the scene. Then now Joseph is in a real dilemma. He has to immediately send Lady Sneerwell away. So when he goes to the door, Sir Peter tells this Joseph not Joseph, Charles, that there is a woman in the house, and she is even listening to our speech. Then Charles and Peter go and remove the screen, lo and behold, you see Lady Teasel there. By that time, Joseph also arrives, and Jo- Lady Teasel is very much angry. The more Joseph tries to speak, the more the angrier she gets, and she perfectly understands Joseph's hypocrisy now, and cries and goes out of the screen. Sir Peter is too much embarrassed. At the same time, he doesn't know basically what to do, and he also goes home. So this is how the act 4 ends. In Act 5, you see Sir Oliver's test on Joseph. Now, as you know, Joseph is already confused and tense over this matter. But in front of the society, he will be the good person as he is supposed to be. Sir Oliver comes and meets Joseph in the disguise of Stanley. Stanley is supposed to be a relative of Joseph's mother, poor relative. So he had already written a letter to Charles, and perhaps now he wants to meet Joseph. Then Joseph speaks to him in the most polite manner, but he doesn't give him even shilling, pound, in English currency, and he would rather send this Stanley away, because at any moment Sir Oliver may come. Rowley had come and told that Sir Oliver is likely to come at any moment. He had arrived from India. Okay. Now I know the pace of events is getting faster. So in Sir Peter's house, it is altogether a different situation. As you know, these scandalmongers, they will not spare anyone. Even if Lady Teasel was their own friend, they are very happy thinking about the scandal. So they are they are busy spreading rumors. The best rumor is that who is the lover. So one argument is that Charles was the lover. Another argument is that Joseph was the lover. And there was one more episode. They say it in so much of clarity. For example, there was a duel. In the duel, Sir Peter was wounded. Now he is unable to walk and he is taking rest. So all of them come to Sir Peter's house to see, him lying out of wound. Then Sir Oliver comes to know about it, and he is very much surprised. And he should also see his friend if he is really wounded by a bullet. So that is how the scene ends here. Now, that is one episode. So now, though Charles and Joseph have some differences, when the question of their uncle comes, they have to be together because he is the person who will be providing money. No? So Charles again comes to the house of Joseph. Now, Sir Oliver will again come to the house of Joseph, claiming to be Sir Oliver. But these people, that is these two brothers, have already seen Sir Oliver in different persona. For example, the moment they say Sir Oliver, Charles says this is Mr. Premium, and Joseph says this is Stanley. Both of them together try to send this man out because they have not seen Sir Oliver for 16 years, and they do not even know that Sir Oliver has played a trick on them. By that time, Lady Teasel, Rowley, and this one, Sir Peter, all of them come to the scene, and Joseph's hypocrisy is exposed. Even now the drama is not fully over. Lady Sneerwell also arrives. For example, Sir Peter tells, okay, now that everything is clear, let Charles and Maria marry. Then the Lady Sneerwell accuses Charles, of being unfaithful. Charles says, what I have done? I have done nothing. Then Rowley brings Snake. Now, Snake tells that Lady Sneerwell had been giving him money 10,000 pounds, say, for example, now he has been given double the amount to tell the truth. So he says, he had been writing letters in the name of Charles. Lady Teazle also says, uh, there were letters actually. Lady Teazle writing to Charles, Charles writing to Lady Teazle, and another, maybe in connection with the lady Sneerwell. All in all, surprisingly, the snake is supposed to be a journalist and critic also. Perhaps Sheridan is having a dig at the contemporary journalists. Okay, so all in all that is well, that ends well. All is well that ends well, isn't it? So, in the last scene, Joseph's hypocrisy is exposed. Sir Peter even angrily tells Joseph, if possible, you marry Lady Sneerwell, like that. So, the drama ends in hope for that matter. Because there is a chance of reform. Lady Teazle will be reformed, and Charles also will be reformed. Now let us look at some of the critical aspects of the drama. As the title itself suggests, the drama is full of scandals. That is why it is called School for Scandal, isn't it? From the first scene itself, people are involved in one scandal or another. When you write an essay, you have to write all these scandals, important ones, and highlight them. Then satire. The drama is a satire of the restoration lifestyle, hypocrisies, vulgarities, mean-mindedness, like that. Then it is a comedy of manners also. Characters are basically two-dimensional. They do not grow as such in the course of the drama. Then as far as scandal is concerned, there are more than 3 scenes solely for the purpose of scandals. So the title is quite appropriate. Then another major theme in the drama is the theme of exposure. Almost all the hypocritical characters are exposed at one time or other. Joseph gets exposed, Lady Sneerwell gets exposed. That is there. Even good characters at one time or other, they are exposed. Charles, for example, gets exposed. He tells Sir Oliver that my uncle is likely to die and all. So such scenes create humor as well as mirth, and are highly satirical also. Then there are 2 focal points in the drama. See, one is the indirect rivalry between 2 brothers for the hand of Maria, for the wealth of Sir Oliver. For the treason they pretend to be too good. Second one, the marital discord between Lady Teazle and Sir Peter. Again, it was a characteristic of restoration drama, a rich man marrying a country girl, etc. Then, it being a comedy of manners, wit and humor are part and parcel of the drama. There are quite many humorous scenes in the drama. For example, screen scene, auction scene, the last scene, quite many hilarious scenes are there. Now, regarding the technique, the drama is an attack on the sentimental comedies. It is an attack on sentimentality as represented by the figure of Joseph Surface. So, then as you already know, it is a drama of high society, and it ends with a lot of optimism. So as I have told you, Sheridan slightly deviates from the existing comedy of manners at that time. There is some kind of reformation and character reformation in the drama. Overall, this drama makes a nice reading. It is very funny like it is refreshing. It was refreshing, at least during that time. For us, it gives us a glimpse of the high society of that time. And this kind of rumors, scandals, these are part of lives. As long as human beings live, we will have scandals, I suppose. We are not supposed to spread rumors about other people. This is the inherent message in the drama. All in all, reading and viewing School for Scandal is a very hilarious experience. Thank you.